Hi, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I am here with Miss Pat and Jordan E. Cooper, co-creators of the Emmy-nominated Miss Pat Show. Thank you so much for joining me. Look at it, right? Right, y'all deserve it all, too. How are you two doing?
Fine. We just happy. We're excited.
Yeah.
We good. We good.
You know, you guys have this way of making like really, really heavy topics just so hilarious. How do you manage to do that? Because I'm like, should I be laughing right now? Why am I laughing so hard? Why is this?
I think it's just finding the balance. You know, both of us have the same philosophy of life, meaning that pain and beauty come in hand. And so with that pain, you can find a way to laugh at the thing or laugh around the thing or laugh through the thing. And really, it's just that delicate balance of always finding the light somewhere in the darkness, because there's always a light somewhere. And really, it's just taking that and putting it into comedic form. And that's what she does on stage as well. That was the thing that attracted me to her and to do the show, was because I was just enamored at the fact that she was talking about being shot and being hit and raped and molested and all this stuff, and somehow has you falling on the floor laughing. It was like, that's what I do in my work. And so just God just put us together to do this thing and to make this show, and thankfully it's coming through if it's doing the same to you.
Let me tell you something. I marathoned the whole season 2, so I know they ain't see it yet, but I did.
What you think? You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. And, you know, I want to talk about, like, I'm not going to give it away, but you specifically spoke to a very heavy topic that we were able to laugh at, right? And we were working with her trying to, you know, wrestle through, like, should I tell this joke? Right. And when you see those moments, and it was such a heavy, serious moment, and we're still kind of laughing at her insistence, but the way you guys played that moment and weaved it into, like, it was so brilliant how you guys did that. But again, full circle, you come back around and you realize, like, that was that, you know, once, you know, Miss Pat, sometimes it takes a little time for her to kind of, you know, come around, but she finally came around. You know, it's like, okay, now I see why y'all said that wasn't funny.
Right. The joke.
You know, the joke when y'all was playing the music.
About Mr. John.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time he tried to tell the joke, it was like, turn the music up. Like,
right.
I was like, this is really
what was that song that played? It was I wanted
played Ludacris. And it's Shauna. Listen, I told you I watched. I definitely did. And then Miss Pat, I mean, a lot of this draws from your actual real life. And I've actually spoken with you before. We had a really great conversation. So I just wonder, you know, when you're taking on these topics, and I know you do it on stage, and of course with comedy, you know, a lot of that may in fact be therapeutic, but now it's like these episodes it's you know, you can get on stage and you can get off. This gets replayed, streamed, you know, people are watching these episodes and they're quoting them and everything. I mean, does that ever sort of like re-trigger pain in that sense?
No, well, it re-triggered the healing that I'm going through. Because they don't just get retweeted. A lot of times they come with stories. You know, thank you so much for telling my story. Thank you so much for having a voice for, you know, for a lady or a man or a person like me. And so it makes me feel like, you know, I'm not the only person that went through this, and we're all healing together. And I'm putting it out there. You know, I'm laying it all out, and I'm laying it out with laughter. So it's a little bit easier. I remember being in Dallas one day, and I talked about my mom's boyfriend molested me. And this girl had the same situation with her daddy. And she said, I've never been able to laugh at a molestation joke until you did it. And I said, we're going to be all right. Right? You can't change the past, so stop dwelling on it. We're going to be all right. And that meant so much to me, because, and her boyfriend was like, she just, if you do jokes like that, she will run out of the room. But she sat there and she listened to my whole story I had to tell, and to let her know it's okay. And that's what this second season is about, healing, you know, and forgiveness and moving on so we can live.
Exactly.
No, I most certainly see that. And then with Jordan, you know, what's the challenge of working with someone? I mean, I know you guys are writing together and just trying to make sure that you get the storyline correct, and you're doing a lot of the producing and the directing and so forth, but you're working with somebody that knows their own story. So how do y'all bump heads in that process when you're trying to figure out, like, well, Miss Pat, I think it should go this way, and she'll be like, well, I know it went this way.
Right.
He be stealing.
Listen, it's a thing where a lot of times, you know, the hard part about working with somebody who has a real life story is that a lot of times the story that happens in real life doesn't translate into characters or a TV show or something like that. So, but that was one thing that I think we dealt with when we first met, was like, she'd be like, no, it didn't happen like that. It happened like this. Or no, it was this. And I'll be like, Pat, that don't work for a TV. That ain't how that worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at a certain point, whenever she trusted and she saw it, then she was like, oh, I see what you're talking about. So now it's not, we never really have that same thing. And she could tell me a story, right, and then I'll flip it on its head and something else will happen, or it'll come from a different character, or something different will happen in the world, and she sees it. But she's very specific about the small things. I'm very like, the story has to be this, and this is how that happens, and the person moves there. She's like, why is that magnet on the refrigerator red? That wouldn't be red, it would be blue, right? Because that's how our brain works.
The details,
it's the tiny things of like, no, that's real. Like whenever the episode where the little girl's getting her hair combed, and she's like, no, she has to sit between her legs, and the mom has to kind of, and she has to smack her hand every time she reaches. Like those little bitty things, those little bitty nuances that make it real. That's where she lives, and that's where she comes in and breathes, and it's so perfect.
It is perfect. And a lot of times people will say it may be difficult working with children. What you two have here is you are working with multiple children, and they're such an important part of the storyline, and they're actually really good actors. How did you guys go about finding those perfect actors? And I've spoken with Theo before. Remember, he said, Miss Pat, that's his favorite.
Theo is my favorite. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know anything about casting. I'm a comedian, and so, but when Theo Barnes walked in there, I told Jordan, that's my June bug. I felt it, but Jordan already had Jay Bernard and Tammy from the day we got together in his mind, and I was like, oh no. He's like, no, and Jordan did most of the casting. He had it. It was his vision. I couldn't have done that, and I'm being honest, because I didn't know anything about theater or TV or anything like that. So I had to take a step back and say, hey, you go and get these people. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, it's worked out perfectly. And again, I mean, this show is so funny, and I enjoyed it just as a fan. I've just enjoyed it. So it's always
What was
great
your favorite episode of season 2?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna go from really, really light to dark. First of all, I thought that the hair episode was really, really great. I thought I did. Look how she looking. I thought
it was so important to me to do black hair.
She that was the first thing she started the season off with. We got season 2. Jordan, I want to do an episode about black hair. She was like, I don't know, but we just got to do something about black women and their hair and my childhood. And I was like, the more we started to talk, it's almost like the show is like a therapy session.
It's is.
Like, I hear her talk about her life and her mother, and then it's like, okay, I want to see that. I want to see your mother talk to you like that, and see you watch yourself in the mirror when that happens, and how it's like, it's really beautiful how it all comes together. Okay, so the hair episode. No,
I'm serious. I watched. So the hair episode, of course, we're gonna get like the mom, the episode. Well, I'll just say without giving away the singing, like let's just that episode, right? When the tambourines and everything, that episode. Okay, but then if we're gonna go from another extreme, to my real the season finale, because it took a lot out of everybody, and it was so serious, and it was very important.
Very important.
So let me tell you guys something. Again, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I'm again here with Miss Pat and Jordan E. Cooper. These are co-creators of the Emmy-nominated Miss Pat Show. You will not be disappointed, guys. The show is August 11th on BET Plus. It's a must watch, and you're gonna be streaming it every day like I did. Well, no, all day. I just one time.
All day. I slay. Come on.
Yes. I appreciate you guys so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. If you want to see more content like this on blackfilm.com, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell.